Are you serious? Are you serious? Guys, I'm very serious, and here we go again. Another train derailment. I hear the noise. So sorry about that. Train derailment. Another one. Where's Pete Buttigieg? Here we go again. This one is in Minnesota. I'll tell you all about it just a second. We got explosive, toxic, hazardous materials. The FBI is now recommending the use of ad blockers while browsing the web. That's because cybercrime is at an all-time high. We've never been more at risk of identity theft and fraud and data breaches and hacks than now. Matter of fact, that's why a lot of people are using Virtual Shield, VPN, because they love it and it helps. I mean, thanks to the Virtual Shield, people are able to browse the internet anonymously, which allows them to protect themselves. Matter of fact, your data, your finances, the cyber criminals out there are insane. With the anonymous browsing, a strict no-log policy, unlimited bandwidth, and a built-in malware, and ad blocking, Virtual Shield is an industry-leading VPN for anyone who cares about privacy. You can start browsing the internet anonymously, protect the fam from the spam, use the link below. My link, www.virtualshield.com/Begley. That's www.virtualshield.com/Begley. And you'll be glad you did. All right, Pete Buttigieg is up early this morning. He was tweeting at 6:31 a.m. because we had another train derailment. At least we know Pete is awake and is acknowledging that we got a problem. Now, what's he doing to fix it and slow down all these train derailments and hazardous materials and everything spilling everywhere? That's another question. But according to reports, a train hauling ethanol derailed this morning in Raymond, Minnesota, igniting several rail cars and forcing nearby residents to evacuate, according to officials. Matter of fact, the preliminary information suggests 14 of the train's 40 cars were carrying hazardous materials, including ethanol, which did spill. It released, and it caused the fire. Crazy, outrageous fire. U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg told CNN this morning that he was awake and on top of it. The train was carrying mixed freight, including ethanol and corn syrup, according to Lena Kent, the general director of public affairs for the BNSF Railway. Now, ethanol is highly flammable, chemical, hazardous, toxic chemical. Exposure can lead to coughing, dizziness, feeling of burning of the eyes, the throat, the nose, drowsiness, unconsciousness, and, if too much, death. The derailment happened at about 1 a.m. this morning. Homes within a half a mile of the derailment were evacuated, according to the police. They're in Minnesota. There's been no injuries or any results of this crash, of this emergency so far, but it's too early. And I don't know how many people. This was a town of about 800 people. Now, I don't know if they evacuated almost everybody or how many. We still don't know. Brittany Phelps and her family were startled by the knock on the door at 1:30 a.m. First responders saying, you got to get out of the house. You need to flee because of the explosion and the toxic material. We heard the loud crash, but we didn't think anything of it till the ambulances actually pulled up to our front door. They could soon smell the stench of the ethanol and saw the wrecked train cars and large fire down the road. Her family is staying at one of the designated emergency shelters for evacuees. The school in the nearby city of Princeburg is now the emergency shelter for this town. We don't know how many of the people of the town are being evacuated or how many they think should be. We do not know when they're going to be allowed to go back. Pete Buttigieg, maybe he's going to go on the scene. I don't know, but he was up at 6:31 a.m. tweeting on Twitter that he was on top of it. The city of Raymond is not accessible to the public. So Unity Church in Princeburg, thank God. See, it's always the churches that have to bail everybody out. You ever notice that? And yet the churches get hated on more than anybody, any other institution. We're being hated on. Crimes against churches, vandalism against churches, shootings at churches, media disparagement, of churches. Uh, media attacking churches, our faith, what we stand for. But it's always us, the church of Jesus Christ, who's first up, ahead of Pete, even ahead of Pete Buttigieg. We're first to lend that helping hand, no matter where it is in America and around the world. You'll find that the Christians are always there to help. Maybe that's why we're called Christians, because that's being Christ-like. Anyway, pray for this town, because now so far we don't hear. I've been looking at some of the pictures. Pretty amazing. A huge fire. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and state emergency management leadership will travel to Raymond today to visit the site of the derailment. And the derailment happened nearly 2 months after that other train derailment with hazardous chemicals derailed in East Palestine, Ohio, igniting an inferno, spewing poisonous fumes in the air. And it also, this derailment happens the same time of the barge, Louisville, Kentucky, the Ohio River, when 10 barges break away from a tugboat, smash around in the Ohio River outside of Louisville, right there at Louisville, Kentucky, and then the methanol. Now, this is ethanol in the train derailment, but that was methanol in the Ohio River, spilling and contaminating the Ohio River. Now we got this over here. We've had train derailments in Detroit, Michigan. We had one in Nebraska. We had one in Alabama. We had another one in Ohio. We had one in Pennsylvania. We had a truck with hazardous materials spilling and going up in flames in Arizona. These are just, in the last 2 months, these are just a few things. That I'm just off the top of my head. If I can remember that many things, then how many more things are out there happening that we don't even know about? And then we got Yellowstone, danger zone. Yeah, it's rumbling. It's rumbling. It's grumbling. It's fumbling. It's mumbling. And you hope it doesn't start exploding. We hope not. But I don't know. I was going to look and see how many earthquakes. I know yesterday when I reported there had been 60 right in the Yellowstone Lake. And then someone texted me last night, said it was up to 88 earthquakes in the lake. You might want to check with Mary Greeley on YouTube. She is the expert on Yellowstone. She lives right there. She's been reporting on it for over 12 years and has done a great job on YouTube. That's Mary Greeley. And hopefully. Now, Mike from the World, in the webinar we just had, and if you haven't seen it, you can still get a ticket. It's called Cataclysmic Apocalypse. And in that webinar, Mike from around the world said he wasn't worried about Yellowstone. And to be honest with you, Steve Quayle, as I've had on in the past, in the last couple of years, said he's not worried about it either. Steve Quayle is completely infatuated with Cascadia's subduction zone and a major earthquake. He's looking, and it is due. It is right. He's right. That thing is due. The last time it had a massive eruption was in 1700. So it's due. Mike is more focused on the San Diego area, Southern California area, the fault line there. He believes that's the next one that's due. Matter of fact, there's a lot of scientists now that are saying that is the most. But Mike's also worried about the Cocoa Plate. He's worried about the Caribbean over there by Puerto Rico and that whole area, the Caribbean Plate. He's worried about the North Atlantic, how that the magma's rising. He's worried about Tonga, where we had that massive explosion. He constantly talks about the fault lines that run under Italy, right under Rome. These are some of the areas that he seems to be more focused on.
You know why they're not worried about Yellowstone?
Why are they not worried about Yellowstone? Because a mountain boy can't survive. I know it. Israel's from, you're from Billings, Montana. Cowsbell, Montana. So how far is that from Yellowstone? About 5 hour drive. Yeah. Yeah, the mountain folks there, they're not worried about it at all. They can survive anything. I don't think Buttigieg is I don't think. Thank you for asking there in the chat room. No, I was just joking around. Pete Buttigieg is not responsible for Yellowstone, and maybe that's a good thing if you think it over. Maybe that's a really.
Maybe that's why the Buffalo are running.
give me a home. Well, they are running out of there, You're right. Can you shelter me, Lord?
Say, did you know that every U.S. state has at least...
What's wrong with these people? Is it PBT? PBT? PBT. Shelter us all, Lord. Because chaos seems to be the king around the world. The earth can shake, the sky come down, the mountains all fall to the ground. But I will fear none of those things. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Dark waters rise, the thunder pounds, the wheels of war are going round, and all the walls are crumbling. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Hide me underneath your wings. Hide me deep inside your heart. In your refuge, cover me. The world can shake, but Lord, I'm making you my hiding place. The wind will blow, the rain can pour, the deluge break, the tempest roars. But in that storm, my spirit sings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Right. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Are you serious? Yellowstone is rumbling, grumbling, fumbling, and mumbling, and tumbling. You never know what's going to happen next. You just never know. Hide me underneath your wings. Hide me deep inside your heart. In your refuge. What? Cover me. The world can shake, but Lord, I'm making you my hiding place. Now on that day, you call for me. Someday when time no more shall be. Yep. Train carrying and ethanol. I say, death, where is your sting? Just as said that. Derails. And a barge carrying methanol spills in the Ohio River. Good news is nobody was hurt in the train derailment, and no one was hurt in the barges that sunk in the Ohio River this morning. But sad thing is, hazardous material, toxic ethanol, burning, smoke, fumes, the plumes, the ash in Raymond, Minnesota. People being evacuated now. And in Louisville, it's toxic methanol spilling in the Ohio River. Hide me underneath your wings. Hide me deep inside your heart. In your refuge, cover me. The world can shake, but Lord, I'm making you my hiding place. Now on that day, you call for me. Someday when time no more shall be. Well, I say, death, where is your sting? Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. That's right. Shelter me, Lord, Somebody ought to shout. We're reading Psalms 91. We know we're protected by the hand of the Lord, by the word of the Lord. Thank God for that. Amen. Anyway, that's the song Shelter Me, Lord. You can find it. That's at my website. If you go to paulbegleyprophecy.com, you can get the album, The Journey, okay? Or you can always find it over there on iTunes or Amazon.com or Amazon Music, or I think wherever else, Spotify, some of these other places. But if you want to get the full album called The Journey, you should get it. Go over to my website. Matter of fact, let me just say this. I just got in some more of Kevin Copley's CDs. They've been out for a year. Just got them in. So if you want to order the Kevin Copley One More Day album, I just got 50 of them in, okay? So if you want to order that, go to my website right now and order One More Day by Kevin Copley. Don't forget, formerly Jacob. I've got albums with Israel Hall and Jeffrey Clare Coper. It's an awesome album. I got that available. Go to my website. There it is. You've got all 4 of my albums that I've done. I've got 4 of Kevin Wilson's albums. This might be the day to just get some music and enjoy the worship. So go to paulbegleyprophecy.com. That's www.paulbegleyprophecy.com and order your favorite artists that we have and feature here at paulbegleyprophecy.com here on the Coming Apocalypse. And don't forget, tonight, Mike from around the world is going to be with us. And so we hope you are ready for that. Should be good. I've got a busy day of recording to do today. Israel Hall he and I are both here in Branson, Missouri. We had a big day yesterday. We were on television shows in the morning. Israel singing, doing a great job. And then last night he did praise and worship. I preached a message, and my message was called Beast Kingdom Rising. Hey, Izzy, do you have that? Do you see? Yeah, and I want to show them this. And also, I'm going to tell them how they can order this conference. Also, there's one of those little pamphlets. Sorry about that, Iz. We're going to be interviewing Carl Gallups this afternoon here. Awesome. Oh, it's the hand. Oh, no. It's the hand. Okay, anyway, if you go to, my message last night was Beast Kingdom Rising, and it's actually, I preached the message last night. I told the people here that was the animated version of it, but it's 4 messages, okay? Beast Kingdom Rising, Beast Kingdom Prophecy, the arrogance of the Antichrist, and Netanyahu and the Red Heifers are all part of this DVD. We're making this available. It's not even on my website yet. I'm just letting you know that's what I preached. But if you want to hear the message that I preached last night, you can do that by going to the Jim Baker Show. Where do they go, Is? Just go to www.jimbaker.com.
Well, right now they have to buy the ticket to the conference.
And how much is the ticket? So, okay. So what you do right now is you... Yeah, that's for every day. That's the whole package. Yeah. So for the ticket's $20. $20 for the ticket for this entire conference called the Ready Now Expo. Okay. And when you pay for the ticket, it's at Jim Baker, at the jimbaker.com, jimbakershow.com. You pay for the ticket. Not only can you watch the streaming live, but you can watch all of the service. You can on demand. So you can get the 2 television shows that I was on yesterday with Carl Gallups and Mark Biltz. You can get both of those television shows and Israel Hall singing on the second television show. You just go right now, and that was yesterday morning. And if you want to hear my sermon, Beast Kingdom Rising, and Israel Hall doing praise and worship here from Branson, Missouri, you can watch that. It's on demand right now, isn't it, Izzy? I'm saying, do you think so? Yep. So you buy the ticket. You just go to jimbakershow.com. The ticket's $20, and you can watch the rest of this entire expo if you want. Or you can just pick and choose and watch the TV shows or the sermons by different people. whatever you want to do. But if you want to watch the 2 television shows that Israel Hall and I were doing yesterday with the Jim Baker Show, that's available. And if you want to just watch last night's service, where Israel Hall did praise and worship, and I preached the message, Beast Kingdom Rising, okay? Check it out. It's all at the Jim Baker Show Ready Expo. Now, don't forget tonight, Mike from around the world is going to be with us. We're going to be asking him some questions. Now, South Bay Mike wants me to ask Mike from around the world a couple questions. One question is, when Planet X comes, is Planet X riding the ether of the solar system? Is that the right question? I think it is. Is Planet X riding the ether? The reason my South Bay Mike wants me to ask that question is because that's a question that Stephen Ben-Noon asked me on our webinar to ask Mike. So I'm going to try to remember. I wrote it down to ask him tonight. Also, if you pierce the veil at CERN, will you be able to see people from the past? Stephen Ben-Noon wanted me to ask that question to Mike from around the world, and South Bay Mike is reminding me of that. Let me just tell you something. Last night, after the service was over, there was a scientist here in Branson. He was at the service, and he came up to me after we were done and said, look, I'm a scientist, and I've studied extensively not only on CERN and about CERN, but some of my colleagues and some of my closest scientific friends work at CERN. And he said, I can tell you, I'm not going to give this man's name because I don't think that would be a good thing to do. But I can tell you what he shared with me last night is shocking. And, okay, I'll explain that tonight with Mike Around the World, and let's see if we can get a confirmation. Wow. They're just about there. They're just about ready to pierce the veil. And I'll tell you more about that tonight. We'll ask Mike Around the World about it. It'll be a very interesting show tonight, so don't miss it. Is CERN about to unlock the gates of hell, the abyss? They know how. They haven't done it because they're afraid of what's on the other side. We'll ask Mike Around the World about that. Don't miss tonight's broadcast, 9 p.m. Eastern, with Mike from Around the World. Give your life to Jesus Christ. Yeah. We're almost out of time.